All right, grade eights. This is the math lesson about how we multiply positive and negative integers. This is section 9.4 in your textbooks. So get ready because this is quite possibly the hardest lesson that you will ever have. Just kidding, it's super easy. So if we take a look over here, this is a graph that really just dictates how we do multiplication of positive and negative integers. When we have a positive number multiplied with a positive number, our answer is going to be positive. When we have a negative number multiplied with a positive number, our answer is going to be negative. So, anytime that you have two positive numbers or two negative numbers, as you can see, negative and negative, your answer will always be positive. I mean, anytime the signs are different, so a positive integer with a negative integer, your answer is always going to be negative. So let's take a look at a quick example. When you see two integers that are in brackets side by side, there seems to be no operation. Is it a multiplication? Is it a division? Is it a... I'm not too sure. Anyways, this is a multiplication. Anytime you see two brackets side by side and no operation in between, it will always be a multiplication. So right here we have negative 4 times negative 3. Because these two are negative, that means that they have the same sign in front of them. Their final answer is going to be a positive one. So the final answer should be positive 12. So if we take a look at the sentences, a positive times a positive, because those two are the same, that will give us a positive. A positive times a negative, because they're different, our product or our answer of the multiplication is going to be negative. A negative times a negative makes a positive, and that's because they're the same sign. And a negative times a positive is always going to give you a negative answer. Does that make sense? Great. So let's try some examples. Right here we have negative 2 times negative 3. That's going to give us positive 6. The way we do it is we multiply the numbers first. So 2 times 3 is going to give us 6, and then we look at the sign. Because there's two negatives, they're the same sign, our answer is going to be positive 6. Over here, we have negative 4 times positive 5. 4 times 5 is 20. And because the signs are different, our answer is going to be negative. So negative 20. All right, when we add more numbers, it gets a little bit tricky, but really, it's still very simple. We have negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the first two numbers first. 3 times 3 is 9, and we have a negative times a negative. They're the same sign, so our answer is of the first two numbers is going to be positive 9. However, now we have positive 9 times negative 3. So 9 times 3 is 27. And because we have a positive number times a negative number, our answer is going to be negative. So our final answer is going to be negative 27. What I want you to do is I want you to try this one by yourselves. And you can just pause the video now until you get the final answer. After you're done that, take a look at our final answer, and if you got negative 48, then you know what you are doing. And on to our last slide. We have a couple word questions. How many different ways can you write negative 25 as the product of two or more integer factors? So, what we got to think of is what numbers multiply to give us 25? Well, very quickly, we can have 5 times 5, but because it's a negative, we know that both of the signs cannot be the same. So it couldn't be just 5 times 5. It has to be positive 5 times negative 5. We also could do 25 times negative 1. And vice versa, we could do negative 25 times 1. All of these would give us a product of negative 25. All right, for the last example, how many different ways can you write negative 100 as the product of two or more integer factors? Make sure that you take into account all of the numbers that would multiply to 100. We're going to look at whole numbers, integers, not decimal and not fractions. And I want you to take into consideration that you can have the same combination where one number is positive and the other is negative, and vice versa. I'll let you guys try this one on your own. This has been a review of how to multiply positive and negative integers. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, don't forget to ask in class. Ciao!